Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to another episode of Subconscious, a podcast made by two friends sharing their catch-ups from two different hemispheres. My name is Joseph, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Colin. We're two longtime friends sharing the new things we've learned every week. We hope you enjoy our casual chats while having a nice drink with us. How are you this week, Colin?
Doing not bad. I've got, at the time that we're recording this, I've got like a week and a half. Nope, I've got a week-ish of holiday left before I start back at uni. And it feels good to have a little break.
Nice.
How about you?
Yeah, just enjoying my break as well. Although it's summer here, so my break's a lot longer.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I just thought hemispheres, things are swapped.
Yeah, even though you said it like 20 seconds ago.
Who really listens to the intro anyway?
Yeah.
Turns around and cries.
It's like you're like a distant sobbing on the mic.
Anyway, I'll try not to choke on my drink. So this week, I am having another coffee again.
Oh.
But this time, I've made it drip style, just like a long black, basically. And the beans are again from a local roastery called Single O.
Oh.
But this time, I'm having their La Hermosa, which is single origin beans from Guatemala.
Ooh.
And
I
the taste
absolutely
profile,
know where that is.
Central America. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I hope. No, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, the taste profile, meanwhile, tastes of cola, dried cranberry, and grapefruit.
Okay.
So yeah, it's got some
Grapefruit.
nice.
I would assume
nice.
like sourish.
Yeah, it's got a bit of a sour kick to it. Interestingly, I feel like when they write cola, right, like you expect like a Coke or something. But I like
that's what I thought, to be honest.
Yeah, which like kind of makes no sense to me because I guess like the only thing I associate with Coke is like the taste of sugar.
Yeah.
But actually, I don't know if you know this. Apparently, this could be like an urban myth or something. But like in China or something, they used to like boil Coke for like the herbs, like the I don't know, like turn into like a herbal drink or something.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. Like it could be a total lie, but like I've got no clue. Like I've got no like way to validate it. But I bring this up because, I think that's what they're trying to communicate with this like taste profile thing. Like cola, like it tastes pretty like herbaceous, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm quite enjoying this coffee, and that's that.
All right. This week is a topic from me, and I'm going to talk about cognitive biases. Biasi. Basically, just like different ones. There are loads, but I'm going to focus on 3. And what I mean by cognitive biases are, like common ones that I believe we all at least know or like kind of can feel or suss out is like the bandwagon effect, which says that if we believe in things because we believe in certain things that people around us believe in because there's a lot of people believing in them. This is not actually because we were compelled by reason or fact that we learned beforehand, but it's just, let's just say, whether that be in politics, stock markets, or even like group meetings. Like, I believe that
Bitcoin.
Yep, and everyone invests. I'm not saying that's a bad idea, but like perhaps the bandwagon effect has come into it. There is also confirmation bias, which means that there's a tendency in us at times to search, interpret, or favor certain information that confirms one's own beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure we do this all the time, whether that be for your own research or reading the news about specific things that are happening in society. Many examples. And when I say, biases, like it sounds like an inherently bad thing, obviously, because, it's always great to be neutral.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, I am neutral, but that would be the bias.
Never thought of
I'm not going to talk about that. Yeah. It's actually a thing, apparently.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, it's a phenomenon that reveals, how we know things or justify things
Mm-hmm.
in epistemology and obviously psychology. Let's get to it. And these three I have never heard of before, and I thought was quite interesting. First one is called the availability heuristic bias.
Ooh.
Now, this is a mental shortcut that relies on the immediate examples that come to give a person's mind, that comes to a person when we evaluate a topic, a concept, a method, or a decision. So, I guess in more layman terms, that means like how our judgment is heavily weighed when because of more recent information. Because it is easier to recall this fact or the consequence of something or sorry, that's it. Basically, basically we recall it because we recall it and not really because we've seen the whole picture, that type of thing. So that comes into a lot of things. I'm just going to give like two examples. So let's just say the perceived risk of something, right? There was a study done which asked participating people to pick between two illnesses. Those who were doing the study wanted to know, which disease they thought were more likely to cause death. And in studying, they asked the participants to choose between a stroke and asthma. Which one would be more lethal, if you will. And the researchers concluded that depending on what experiences were available to them, or they had someone in their life died because of a stroke or asthma, they would perceive a higher risk in that particular disease. So let's just say me and Joseph are in this study. I had a close friend who, died from asthma, and Joseph had a close friend who died from a stroke. There is a tendency for people that side with me to say that, or had the same experiences as me, to say that a stroke is, I forgot what I said already, but like,
asthma.
Asthma as the more lethal illness. So I thought that was quite interesting. I also don't want to deny COVID-19's significance, obviously, but perhaps the experience or inexperience of the pandemic have caused certain countries or individuals to react differently in the initial stages of the pandemic, or even now. I wouldn't know, obviously, because I'm not a psychologist and I'm not everywhere. But yeah, that's just an easy context in which I feel like this bias can be applied.
Would it be like, let's say, assuming that like the risk of something bad happening on like an adverse flight event, right? Like a plane crashing or something, it's like a fixed probability of happening, but people will perceive it as more dangerous if something's happened more recently.
Yep, exactly. Or like you hear more about it. Like people will usually tend to think terrorism, like death from terrorism, is a much higher risk or a much bigger issue compared to like watching TV. But statistically, people have died 55 times more from a TV falling on them than terrorism. And obviously this comes from, I won't say obviously, but like this can come from, let's just say, media, stories you've heard from people, or just like the whole social atmosphere towards particular subjects.
Yeah. And I guess like a TV doesn't really have agency over like making the decision to fall onto you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, very interesting. So it's literally like what we know or what we recently know or hear a lot of will change our bias or like our estimations about risk, danger, or whatever. Secondly, this is a much shorter one, don't worry, is a choice supported or choice supportive bias. And this is the tendency to ascribe positive attributes to an option that one has selected or to demote a foregone option. Example, Apple versus Android. I bought myself a Google Pixel 3 XL, which is Android, and there are many times in which I've justified my purchase or like decision because by saying like, oh no, I wanted the Android interface, I wanted the Android widgets and the AI is just better and the updates or whatever, you know. But in truth, like, although this may be true, like to be honest, I can switch to Apple quite easily. And I'll also talk about the camera quite a bit, you know, just to justify like my choice of getting Android is superior because the Apple one just doesn't fit me or just is bad in my perspective, you know.
Right.
So again, that could be applied to political candidates, social policies, who has the best pet, or even why your parents love you. Like, I know that sounds funny, but like, you know, the fact that I'm not saying your parents chose you in like a supermarket or like, you know, like a product. Yeah, but like, you know, or why you love your parents. Like, you know, I had the best mom in the world, that type of thing. Like, those are not a choice. It's because that you have it or, you know, it's part of your life. But, you know, the whole parent thing is probably less applicable compared to like the phone, you know, or like certain products that you buy. Like Adidas is better than Nike, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom doesn't have a great camera on it, so. Dad jokes with Joe, haha.
Man. And the last one is
sorry.
It's okay. The last one is survivorship bias. And this is where we judge things based on their surviving information. What do I mean? Here are some examples. You know, there are sometimes you might see headlines or when you go to like, you know, when you go traveling and you see this really old building or castle and it says, you know, this building has lasted more than 3,000 years or like 600 years due to its superior engineering, which is like a fair enough claim. It is not immediately wrong. You know, this bias doesn't render it completely false, but to take it as face value as a fact would kind of overlook a lot of the environmental factors that may have destroyed other buildings, you know? We also don't know the ratio of buildings that were built the same way but were destroyed compared to this building. So basically, we're basing the conclusion only on the surviving data information. We can't. Right. It's hard to know what we don't know. Basically, you know.
It's like the sample size is not complete.
Exactly. And a very good, I guess, example is during World War II, there was a statistician called Abraham Wald, who took survivorship bias into his calculations when considering how to minimize bomber losses to bomber as in like the planes, like fighter jet or like fighter planes losses when considering, you know, where to protect the plane to put on armor.
Yeah.
And he examined the damage done to the aircraft that had returned from missions and recommended to add armor to the areas that showed the least damage. So just for that to process, he added armor. So let's just say there were damage done to the wings and to, let's just say the cockpit. He would add armor to the places where it didn't have as much damage. This initially contradicted the U.S. military's conclusion because the U.S. military wanted to put more armor on the most hit areas on the plane.
Actually, I see where this is going.
Yeah, yeah. So, but Wald noted that the military only considered the aircrafts that had survived the mission and came back. Any bombers that had been shot down would have logically or statistically, you can assume that they were shot at the places where, for the planes who came back, they had the least, quote unquote, least damage. So the bullet holes in returning aircraft then represent areas where a bomber could take damage and still fly and return safely to the base.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was a fantastic example of survivorship bias because we're just taking in, they're coming back, but not all the planes are coming back. That type of thing. And for the ones that they are coming back, we at least know that they can take damage in these specific places. So it might be a better bet to put armor on the places that are least damaged because they're probably, blown up by now.
That's a great example.
Yeah. So that's my 3 interesting cognitive biases that I'd shared today. And I thought it was super interesting. What fact do you have for us, Joseph?
Well, today, my fact relates to, I think, a topic that you talked about back in season 1.
Okay.
Actually, I forgot what it was. It was a shelled animal. It was like a clam or something. Was it a clam? It wasn't a clam.
It was a scallop.
It was a scallop. Okay. Well, today I have a fact about clams.
Okay.
So, have you ever heard of the phrase "happy as a clam"?
Yes.
Do you know why people say "happy as a clam"?
No.
Well, I don't either.
Okay.
But it could be because clams only really do 2 things.
Really? Like what?
Yeah.
Like procreate and
eat.
be happy? Oh.
And I feel.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess you're pretty happy when you eat, and you're pretty happy when you procreate.
Let's hope that you're happy in both of those things, It's like sadly eating and procreating.
You know something's wrong when you're doing both at the same time.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, on that note, thanks for joining us again this week. And we hope that you enjoyed a nice beverage with us and are living your life happy as a clam.